Barry Trammell, and sorry, Bob Stoops, I disagree. I don't think kicker is your biggest concern. I think it's defensive tackle.
Well, kicker is a big concern, but I'm still concerned about the offensive line. From the Opelka Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson. Barry, this Sooner team does have some concerns heading into their season opener. Now, I don't think we're going to see them against Utah State, but you think defensive line, defensive tackle in specific is a big concern.
Well, Oklahoma's built a 70-year history of winning football, and it starts on the defensive interior. From Jim Weatherall in 1952 all the way to G.K. McCoy in 2009, the Sooners have always been stout in the middle, made it hard to run, made it easier on everything else they do defensively. And this year with Adrian Taylor not back to full speed yet, Oklahoma's a little soft in the middle. Casey Walker, Stacey McGee, they got some guys they sort of like, but until they get in there and find out if they're good, I don't know if we can count on Oklahoma's defensive fortitude being what it usually is.
Yeah, and you talk about until we see them get in there, we don't know what they've got. I think that's sort of the same with this offensive line. We've heard a lot of good stuff about this group, and I think they're going to be improved over last year, but last year was such a disaster with all the injuries, the inconsistent play. We really, if you use that as a gauge, of course they're going to be better. But I think to automatically say, well, they're going to be vastly better, I'm not ready to go that far, Barry. I think they've got good talent. But until we see how this group actually plays, it's always about cohesion with offensive line. We just won't know until we see them.
Well, now that's true, and there's lots of reasons to be very leery of this offensive line. But reading the tea leaves, I think Bob Stoops sort of likes this offensive line. He wasn't crazy about them last year, remember. Turns out he was right. This year, he hasn't come out glowing reports, but he has said stuff like, we're going to feed DeMarco Murray the ball. I expect a big year out of DeMarco Murray. DeMarco can't have a big year without that line producing well. I think Bob Stoops sort of likes this offensive line. That's enough to give me some confidence that, hey, this offensive line might be okay.
I think the offensive line, it's the same as it is with kicker. They've got bodies, they've got options, but it's about producing. And obviously, kicker, we might have just said, hey, besides kicker, what's the biggest concern with this team? But I do think kicker's a concern. I do think defensive tackle's a concern. But it all starts up front on that offensive line. I think Oklahoma's got some really talented skill players. DeMarco Murray, Landry Jones, Ryan Broyles. I think they've got the potential to have some other guys step forward. But that offensive line has got to produce. They've got to be better than they were a year ago. Lots of things up in the air at this point. Don't know if any of them will really shake down after Utah State, but we'll be watching as this year goes on. Hey, stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.